Hello my friends, it is November the 25th of 2023. This is another collection update video. I've purchased another bunch of great metal albums, and I'm going to present those albums to you and talk to you about them as well. So yeah, I would say that this is somewhat of a special collection update. I've purchased some albums that I really have fallen in love with. Some of these albums I'm going to present to you are just albums I've just grown to just enjoy so much. Definitely some of my absolute favorite albums right here. And yeah, this is I would say a special update video. Of course, I do put out a lot of collection updates, but this one I would say is a little bit more special. Okay, so yeah, let's get right into this. Up first is Afski with the Om 100 Day R. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I probably butchered that. This album came out in 2023. It came out this year. It came out earlier this year. I should have purchased it several months ago, but I only got around to purchasing it, I guess, a few months ago. And yeah, excellent band. I do have their previous album that they released, and so if you're not familiar with this band, this is like a one-man black metal band out of Denmark. He's been around for a number of years now. He has I guess about a handful of albums out, and yeah, just phenomenal stuff. Very aggressive sounding, but also very melodic and very dark and melancholic sounding. I guess you could describe it as being sort of like atmospheric black metal, but it has sort of like almost like a depressive black metal sort of quality to it. I wouldn't necessarily describe it as being like depressive black metal or DSPM, but it definitely has that kind of feel to it. It's certainly very melancholic sounding. It has a very layered type of sound. It's just very rich and full sounding, but yeah, just incredible stuff. And I just really enjoy this particular style so much because it's still very fast and aggressive, but still melodic and very dark sounding the way I like it. Okay, so yeah, just incredible stuff. I mean, this album will definitely be on my top albums of 2023 list. Okay, so yeah, that is Afski with Om 100 Day R. Eric Wagner with In the Lonely Light of Morning. This album came out in 2022. Unfortunately, I only discovered this album some months ago. I mean, if I had been aware of this album last year when it had been released, I definitely would have purchased it, but I only became familiar with this album a little while ago, and I'm telling you, this album is just absolutely phenomenal. 10 out of 10. I just love this album so much. And Eric Wagner, of course, is such a legend. He did, of course, pass away, I believe, back in 2021. Yeah, apparently he died from COVID, but who knows? I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But he did become ill, and he, of course, passed away. Eric Wagner, of course, he played with the band Trouble for many years, also played with The Skull, and I believe he played with a few other bands as well. But he did release a couple of solo albums, and this was his final solo album. And so this album actually was released after his passing. He did complete the album just shortly before passing. So yeah, great stuff. So many memorable songs in here, very catchy songs, very doomy sounding, of course. Very melancholic sounding. You could tell he was definitely in a difficult place in his life. I mean, of course, I believe he knew that he was near the end of his life, because a lot of the topics on this album, the lyrics on this album, discuss life and death and depression and isolation. In fact, there's a song entitled Isolation on here, so very dark sounding music here. Eric Wagner's vocals on this are just phenomenal. This is an incredible album. I mean, it's just phenomenal from start to finish. I mean, what more can I say about this album? I just love it so much, and like I said, 10 out of 10. Okay, so if you haven't checked this one out, and if you're a doom metal fan especially, definitely check this one out, and I would suggest purchasing a copy as well. Okay, so that is Eric Wagner with In the Lonely Light of Morning. The Skull, For Those Which Are Asleep. This came out in 2014. Eric Wagner, of course, was the vocalist for this band. Excellent stuff. I really enjoyed this album so much. Unfortunately, I didn't discover this band earlier. I mean, I've been familiar with this band for years, but for whatever reason, I just never checked them out, and I really enjoy this particular style. This is some really high quality doom metal right here. Of course, it has that more kind of like traditional style of doom metal, but very epic sounding, and just excellent songwriting here. Musicianship is just incredible. So many memorable songs in here, very catchy songs, and of course, Eric Wagner's vocals are just incredible. His lyrics are phenomenal. Production is just excellent here. guitar playing, all of it is just incredible. Great album. I really enjoy this one so much. They did release one other album as well, and I will at some point purchase that album. I definitely want that in my collection. Okay, but yeah, unfortunately Eric Wagner no longer around. Such a legend, such an amazing musician, but he did of course leave behind so much great music, so that's of course very much appreciated. Okay, so yeah, definitely give this one a listen if you haven't. Okay, so that is The Skull, and with the For Those Which Are Asleep. Throssenblatt with the Great Brunswick Forest. This came out in 2018. Excellent band from New Brunswick. They have that kind of more almost like blackened folk metal style. I've been familiar with this band for many years. I do have most of their, or many of their albums. I don't have their EPs. They didn't release their EPs on physical format. Only their full-length albums are on physical format. Yeah, phenomenal stuff right here. I ordered this directly from Joël Violette, who is the main man behind this band. I ordered it directly from him, from his Bandcamp page, and he did send a handwritten letter for me, which he has done previously as well, and that's so appreciated. That's something I appreciate so much, to get a handwritten letter from a musician, especially someone you admire so much. And Throssenblatt, I just enjoy the music so much. This is a little bit of a different album. It's mostly acoustic. It's not necessarily even a metal album. It's not particularly heavy, but yeah, lots of very excellent sort of like acoustic folk rock type songs on here. Yeah, I really enjoy this album so much. Lots of great songs on this one. Yeah, I really enjoy this stuff. Yeah, Throssenblatt, such a great band, and if you haven't listened to Throssenblatt, and if you're into black metal, and especially like melodic black metal or black and folk metal, it's something you need to check out. Okay, so yeah, excellent Canadian black metal. Yeah, amazing stuff. Okay, so yeah, check this one out. Okay, so that is Throssenblatt with Great Brunswick Forest. Austere with the To Lay Like Old Ashes. This came out in 2009. Incredible depressive black metal music here from Australia. This is a band that's been around for many years. They actually split up after the release of this album, but of course they did reunite about a year ago or so, and have released their most recent album, which is phenomenal. I've talked about that album already, but this album right here, To Lay Like Old Ashes, it's just excellent. This is top-notch depressive black metal right here. Just this music just takes you out of this world. It is just incredible. I just love this album so much. I just love the production, everything about it. I just love the melancholy, the darkness, and the sadness of this music, and it is just absolutely mind-blowing music right here. I just love it so much. I mean, what more can I say about this album? It's become a very special album for me. All right, Austere, great band. Love them so much. All right, so that is Austere with the To Lay Like Old Ashes. All right, I got a vinyl record here. This band is called Lees with the Silent Woods. This came out in 2021. I don't know a whole lot about this band. I do know that the guy who is in this band, I believe this is a one-man band only. The guy, I'm sorry, I'm not even familiar with his name. He's one of the members of the band NSM. NSM are of course like an atmospheric black metal band out of Italy, who are a great band as well, and I will talk about them later in a different video. But this album, yeah, I just discovered this on Amazon. I think the price was pretty decent, and I'd given this band a listen and decided to purchase this copy on vinyl, and yeah, really good stuff. I haven't opened this up, but I have listened to this album on Spotify quite a bit, and yeah, some excellent black metal right here. A little bit different from NSM, but definitely has some similarities to that band. Good stuff. Okay, and I really love that cover as well. Great cover. I definitely always appreciate nature-based covers. Excellent stuff. Okay, so yeah, check this band out. That is Lees with the Silent Woods. Forgotten Tomb with Under Saturn Retrograde. This album came out in 2011. Forgotten Tomb have become one of my absolute favorite bands. I've just fallen in love with this band, and I've purchased a bunch of their albums, and Excellent stuff. I mean, this band is just phenomenal. I really enjoy their particular style. I guess you could describe it as being sort of like depressive black metal, but it's different from more traditional style depressive black metal. It's definitely more groove based. It's a little bit different. They have more kind of like doomier type elements, a lot of crunchy guitar riffs, more droning sounding. But yeah, just very, very dark sounding music right here. I guess it does combine some different elements like doom metal, and I would say like gothic metal. So it's a little bit different. They have their own unique style, I would say. They started off as being more of a just your typical sort of traditional style depressive black metal band, but then they sort of evolved their sound into combining or integrating other elements into their particular style, and as a result they've developed their own unique sound. And to me, this band is just phenomenal. They write really good songs, very memorable songs. They are just very heavy and dark and have so much detail going on, and yeah, excellent stuff. I mean, this band is just phenomenal. Love them so much. Okay, so that is Forgotten Tomb with Under Saturn Retrograde. Pentagram with Curious Volume. This album came out in 2015. Pentagram are, of course, one of my absolute favorite bands. I just love them so much. Definitely one of my top 5 favorite doom metal bands. I mean, this band is just phenomenal. They've been around for such a long time, I believe since like 1971. I've gone through many different lineup changes, but yeah, such a great band. This is their most recent album, so it's been quite a number of years, about I guess 8 years since they've released an album. I don't know if they will release another album. I mean, they are still together, but yeah, who knows. We'll see if they do release another album. It would be kind of interesting. But I have listened to this one a fair bit, or maybe not a whole lot, but a reasonable amount. I mean, it's definitely not one of my favorite Pentagram albums, to be honest. I mean, they have other albums I definitely enjoy quite a bit more than this one, but it's still a pretty solid album. Definitely a pretty good Pentagram album. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a Pentagram fan. Definitely pick this one up if you haven't purchased it already. Great stuff. Okay, so that is Pentagram with Curious Volume. And the last album on my list is Stained with Illusion of Progress. This came out in 2008. Stained are, of course, one of my favorite bands from when I have been growing up. I remember when I was like 14, the album Break the Cycle, I believe that's what it's called. That album came out, and I just absolutely love that album, and I purchased it and enjoyed it so much. And then I purchased Dysfunction, was their album that they had released previously to that one. Enjoyed that one so much, and then after some time I just sort of lost interest in them, but have become interested in them once again over the past 6 months or so, and decided to catch up on their discography. So of course I need to get this one in my collection. I've only listened to it a little bit. It's definitely a little bit different from their other albums. Probably their most, I guess, maybe commercial sounding album, I suppose. It's a little bit more rock and roll, I suppose you might say, from what I can tell. Definitely not as heavy as their other albums, but a pretty good album, pretty solid album, I think, overall. Definitely will need to listen to it more. But yeah, I enjoy Stained quite a bit. I mean, we're part of that whole sort of new metal sound, and of course I grew up in that new metal revolution, or sort of like the golden age, as I call it, of new metal back in like the late 1990s, early to mid 2000s. That was when I really got heavily into metal, and of course new metal was popular at that time, and I was listening to a lot of those new metal bands like Stained and Korn and Slipknot and Mudvayne and System of a Down and Drowning Pool, Disturbed, Godsmack, Edema, Linkin Park, Kitty, Powerman 5000. I could go on and on, but yeah, Stained were definitely one of those new metal bands I enjoyed quite a bit, and I will be talking about new metal more in the future. I definitely have a really cool video about new metal planned, and that will be coming out sometime in the new year, so look out for that. Alright, so that is Stained with The Illusion of Progress. Okay, so that's another collection update, and so yeah, like I said, some of these albums I just absolutely love so much. These albums, they just mean so much to me, and I will continue to cherish these albums for the remainder of my miserable existence. And so yeah, that does happen from time to time. You stumble upon certain albums that just transform your life for the better, and so yeah, great albums, and definitely check out some of these albums if you haven't already. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine. His name is Metal Ben. He has a YouTube channel called Metal Ben's Chronicles. definitely check that channel out if you're not familiar with it, Metal Ben's Chronicles. He puts out lots of great content on a consistent basis, so yeah, I definitely want to support him. Okay, so yeah, otherwise I'm doing okay. I've been very busy with work and doing projects at home here, and of course working on my music. I've been, of course, recording my new album and been putting a lot of effort into that, and so yeah, that's coming along well. So my next video will be my top 10 albums of 2023, so that will be coming out sometime in mid to late December, so definitely watch out for that video. It will definitely be coming, and I'm looking forward to releasing that video. Okay, so I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I want to say thanks to all the people who watch my videos and subscribe to my channel. I really truly appreciate it. Take care, my friends. Cheers.